So everything was paid by me, right? And then work hard in order to pay for my own education. To me, it was like hard working is a killer. And I didn't want to let it happen.
What was the most important lesson you learned during this 20 years of working towards your goal of enabling you to retire at the age of 40?
I would say that nobody else will care more about your money more than you do. But you have to take 100% of responsibility. So if you are a parent and if you think like it's too early for me, too late for me or whatever, think about your kids. I'm setting up now, planting the seeds in themselves in order to make sure that they're going to reach the same goal or earlier. One habit that I think everybody has to put in place is paying yourself first.
Get ready to meet Diego Taira, a man who took an early retirement and fired his bosses at the age of 40 and is now on a mission to help millions achieve financial independence. But he just doesn't talk about money, he embodies it. And the twist is, he's faced poverty and battled education debt. So he's walked the talk. So whether you're struggling with debt, dreaming of an early retirement, or just trying to figure out how to make your money work for you, stick around. Diego's insights and practical tips are just what you need to make the money work for you. And a bonus, he gives tips to teach your kids too, in case you're a parent. Enjoy. Diego, welcome to Thrive Talks.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here today to share my story, and I hope to inspire you in some form of shape to take responsibility on your finances.
Awesome. So, Diego, let me start off with how are you today? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing. I believe that we have connected for the past couple of years. I met you in Estonia when we went to the Mind Valley University with amazing people and nice vibe. So it's really, really great to reconnect with you and collaborate because we can do so little alone, but when we join together, join forces to inspire other people, that is very, very special. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yep. I totally believe in collaboration myself. And our topic for today is a very heavy weighted one. That's all about money. But before we delve into money and how you retired at the age of 40, which I know the viewers are going to be super excited to know and intrigued as well, I first want to show them your backstory, Diego, because it wasn't a bed of roses for you. It wasn't like money was just in front of you on a platter, but you've had some really challenging childhood, as I want to put it through. You know, during your teens, you lost your mother. You shifted countries from Argentina, a developing country, to Japan, which was, booming at that time, and basically lived with your sisters while your dad had to go work hard to get some money in, yeah, to make ends meet at home. So, how was that period for you, Diego?
Yes, thanks for asking. For a very difficult topic to discuss. I mean, it was really tough. And the first loss I faced in my life was my mother at the age of 15 years old. So it wasn't easy to actually accept that truth. On top of it, my father decided to go back to Japan. So my parents are from Japan, and we moved to Argentina before I born, where Japan was totally new country for us with a totally different culture, language, friends, and for a teenager, it was really, really tough. And it was the rock bottom of my life. But looking back, I believe that that change was necessary to get where I am right now. So when I look back and I connect the dots, I believe that life happens for us and not to us. So that is the positive mindset I want to put in the picture as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, it's not like, and I was just laughing because you look Japanese, you look Asian, but you've got your name Diego. So I think the Argentinian roots were pretty solid. But, you know, coming fast forward, it's not like, the buck stopped at you losing your mom at the age of 15, Diego, which for a child is very heartbreaking, right? Because we know what sort of relationship we have with our mothers. But at 18, you hit another rock bottom where your dad was diagnosed with cancer, and that meant he could not work and there was no income stream for even your education. Tell me, Diego, like what went through your mind at that time? Because, first hit was your mom and now your dad. You felt like life must be so unfair to you.
Yeah, that is true. It's not really easy. Also, coming from the third economic country, which was Argentina at that point in time, it was very difficult financially. To a first economic country like Japan, right?
Mm,
My dad has to really work at a place very far away where we are to because the saving that we brought from Argentina to Japan was not didn't last long. I was not enough. So to pay the bills and my two elder sisters going to university, which was very costly. He worked very, very hard till he got diagnosed with cancer, collateral cancer. So it's in the intestine, it's in the stomach. So he did two operations. The first one was not successful. Then they did it the second time, where the second was really, really impactful. Almost died. We only got to know about this key situation from my auntie after the operation, right? So we didn't know what is going on as well. So he after that he couldn't work for a while, so we didn't have any money left to pay my education. So it was my time to go to the university, and I needed to work and get educational loan until graduation. So it was 4 years until I graduated. So everything was paid by me, right? And then work hard in order to pay for my own education. So in my mind, right, well, the other kids are really getting paid to go to university. They are really playing hard. I was working harder, and doing what they want, and because they have the freedom to do so, right? So it was not really fair to me, and all because money. Our parents have to work very hard until they lost their health, right? And to me, it was like hard working is a killer, and I didn't want to let it happen to me and my kids as well. So I decided to become a rich person or wealthy person in the future. I didn't know what is the difference between both those rich and wealthy, but of course I also didn't know how I'm going to do that. Nobody around me was there to teach me. So yeah, that was the starting point of my things from 15 to 18 years old roughly. And I believe that it was not really easy. And then I started with the education, right? So I believe that this country, Argentina, I have my heart in that place, and my mind is in the Japanese brain. So I think like a Japanese, very systematic, very structured way. So I feel like also it's a combination into which one the best world of these two countries, right? The warm side of the Argentina, the friendly side of the Argentina or the Latino, and the structured mind as the Japanese. So uh, I believe that that is also a gift that my parents gave to me.
What a combo, isn't it? Latina, Japanese. Wow. um, But thank you for sharing that story, Diego, because it's so important to know that, when life throws you so many challenges, and that too at such an early stage, I think it builds in so much of grit and resilience. Like you face so much that you're like, no, I've got to have a better future. I want to work relentlessly to get a better future. And literally fast forward, you did your bachelor's in business administration, right? And from the university, and then actually went on to work with a lot of multinational companies in Japan, right? And literally in like 20 years, with so much of hard work, dedication, and that intention in your head that I don't want to live a life of um, poverty, scarcity, of what I went through and give that to my children, but I want to give a better future. And you, at the age of 40, literally took an early retirement as a salary man for almost 2 decades. You went into early retirement. What was the turning point, Diego, that made you decide to fire your bosses? And let me tell the viewers, you've come up with this term FIRE, which is FIRE, which is financial independence, retire early, right? So because you believe in, you need to work to a certain extent, but after that, you want to work because you love to work and not because you need to work to get ends meet, right? So tell me that turning point, like what made you think like, yep, 20 years done, now I want to do work that I love.
Yes, I one thing I need to correct is I didn't come up with the fire because it's a fire movement. It's been there for many, many years. But I believe that fire my bosses is something like I was in that point in time at the age of 40. I wanted to hey bosses, I don't need you anymore, so I'm firing you instead of the other way, right? And the FIRE stands for financial independence, retire early, as you say. And I believe that is retire enablement. I don't want to say that retire early because life after retirement, and I see a lot of people, old people who retire at 60 years old, 65 years old, especially in Japan, that after that, because they lost the purpose, they lost the connection with the society and so on, contribution part, they die earlier, and I didn't want to go that path. And being in the 40 years old, which is the best, I think is the best age when you have the knowledge, you have the capacity to contribute to more and be more as well. So I wanted to say retire enablement for me, right? And that is something new, I believe. So going back to your question, right? And what is the turning point? And in my early 20s, right, starting after I started my university, as well as going to a job and becoming a salaryman, as we call in Japan. We are working for a salary. I in that time I still believe that the path to getting rich was getting a good job in a well-known company, multinational company, work my ass off to climb the ladder and getting a good income, right? But it was the norm for my parents and the people around me had been telling to be a successful life, right? And I did that for 1 decade. So 10 years I was saving money and start investing. And I did ton of mistakes. So I'm going to cover that later on. But I always had in mind to retire early, how I can really reach there in order for free myself and not being like stuck as my parents did. In my early 30s, I started my self-education journey, right? By reading ton of books, attending mindset and financial courses, which helped me to understand that what society told us was not really true, right? Or my parents or their parents, right? Is coming from our ancestors. They're from generation to generation that they have been trying to do the best as they could. Of course they are loving us, so the advice or whatever is to protect us. And if they don't have the right mindset or the skills to bring where we want to go, maybe we need to find the solution on the advices from somebody else who is doing it or done that, right?
Mm.
So finances and investing is something that I could learn from other people, mentors, books, and courses as well. So that is what I identify in the early 30, and making ton of mistakes in my 20s also give me a lot of insight and help me to master the art and science of finances and investing till I reach my goal 15 years earlier than I expected. So I was thinking to retire early at 55 years, right? But I just move forward to reach there faster because yes, I believe that the education is something like you can move faster towards your goal, right? If in the first 10 years that I did a lot of mistakes as well as trying to figure things out, as well as get emotional and make even further mistake that it's pushing me back. So I think that was not really the optimized process. So I truly believe on personal development and even starting with education that limiting belief coming or passed on by my parents. Not even having a high salary. I wasn't the CEO at that time, just a manager level. And not even having a successful startup company, I could reach financial independence at 40 years old. So with some help of the market trend, it took me 20 good years to get there. So the moral of the story is, if I could do it with all of this stuff going through, coming from the third economy country, not having saving, having a lot of debt, and limiting belief. So if I could do it, literally anybody can do it.
Beautiful. You know, genuinely, what you touch base, 2 points. Firstly, number one is, what is retirement at the end of the day? Retirement is just like this fancy word, which actually no one retires. No one should retire. They should just start doing what they genuinely love doing after having a solid financial base, which is the reality of life. People would want to do so much more, but money just gives a good sort of cushion and sort of freedom for us to, go forward and do things that we love once we know that, yeah, that part of our life is kind of set. And which brings me to the limiting beliefs, right? We capture so much from our parents. It's always about, oh, let's just keep on saving for one rainy day, or all these other limiting beliefs. And for me personally, it was always like, oh my God, it was more saving than spending. But eventually I realized, if I don't invest in myself, I'm not going to grow, and my future won't grow. Neither would my present. Present is an actual reflection of where your future is going to be. So before coming to your mistakes that you said, can you just tell me one of your limiting beliefs that you had really strongly within you, and how did you actually mold it for a better future, for a better prospect, for a better outlook in your life?
Yes, one of the limiting belief was that because my parents or nobody around me was a millionaire or was rich in that sense, they have a lot of possession and then a lot of nice things, right? Look how I could think about that I'm going to be there, right? And every single person around you tells the same thing or think about the same thing, yeah, consciously or unconsciously. So that was a limiting belief, right? When I was in Argentina as well as in Japan. So it's the same thing in every country. It doesn't mean that if you are in the first or the third economy country, you might have a different mindset. And that applies in everywhere in the world, wherever you are right now.
Mm,
Right. So I believe that that is not true. If you really want to change your family tree, you can be the change, right? Like Gandhi says, and but you have to take 100% of responsibility, right? If your parents, your ancestor, their parents are the ancestor, right? They have limiting belief as well as limited resources, and they couldn't pass you the knowledge that you require to be successful. Of course, they have been going through a lot of things. They might be having a lot of knowledge as well as insight around them. But if they are not able to pass on in a proper way that the next generation can really change and be impacted, then it's really worthless. Because
mhm,
if I'm going through a lot of pain as well as spend a lot of money investing in myself, what I cannot really have this foundation putting into the next generation to for my kids and their kids. And not only that, you can impact the world around you, right? The people around you, from your friends, from your community members, to the society, and maybe expand to the world, right? So I believe that one person, right, can change, or small people who has this mindset, they want to do good and they want to impact the world. I believe we can do so much, and but we need to try a small scale and then expand further. So I believe that what you're doing as well and combining this, doing it together, it makes a lot of sense, right? That we can change one life at a time, and that is also, it was my belief that, oh, one life at a time maybe is not enough. I want to change 1 million, but everything is start with one person at a time, especially yourself.
So true, Diego. We go with these big missions of 1 million. I mean, how about start with one? It feels less overwhelming also that, yeah, I can change. And that's how you start like developing so much more of your own growth mindset. But now I really want to come to that, right? You're a product of experimentation. You've experimented a lot in life, and that's how you've fallen into trouble as well, had a couple of mistakes, and some of them maybe major mistakes. From the perspective of finance, like, can you tell me one of your biggest financial blunders, probably, and how did you overcome it? Because I think that's where the true wisdom lies, on overcoming it and what just happened over there.
Yeah, sure, sure. And covering back what you say as well, everybody wants to impact 1 million, right? It's like just the number. But I believe to me was 1,000 people, like to reach. And then even 100 was at the beginning. So is if I have 100 people from 100 different countries, I can actually travel around the world, visiting them one by one, and they have the local experience. So it's a little bit more on selfish reason. So I can experience the world with my friends, global friends, and then I can also have fun. But in order to do so, we need to have the resources, like the money, the time, the energy, right? To visit them, and they also have the time to take care of me, or join together or travel together as well. So I believe that part of the community and helping others in order to also help myself, helping the people around, is starting from maybe 10, 100, 1,000. Then that is going to expand further. And I really don't think about 1 million in my lifetime. I truly aim for rippling the effect into generations. So in generations, 1 million is easy to touch. So I have more long-term view rather than short-term in the next maybe 80 years, because I plan to live until 120. 80,
Yeah.
yeah, good enough to reach out to certain people that are going to ripple the effect and touch more life into different generations, not in only my lifetime, right? Going back to your question, and I believe that I got a lot of different mistakes, and I really cannot choose one. But if I need to mention one of them, it will be like, I always, when I started investing, right? When I was starting with my financial journey as well. So my sister got a little bit of debt issues using the credit card, and then paying the debt with the credit cards, and then getting more debt and this and that. So I was lending some money to pay those the interest, and never came back, right? So it's like, oh, month after month is coming towards it. Do you have this amount, right? And then keep adding, adding. And I was thinking, I'm not helping her at all. I was just only helping for that point in time, and I didn't have the knowledge how to help. So in that sense, I was thinking, okay, maybe I can take the financial planning certification or courses to get to know how to manage the money, right? And that kickstart my journey actually, because with the knowledge I can get, I can help more, right? Rather than just only giving the fish. I can teach how to fish, and that is the starting point of my current company, Well Angels. That we don't want to give the fish just to feed one time, two times, three times. And there are many gurus, there are many people out there using the YouTube that it's just feeding. But the education, right? You can learn in order to not be able to fish yourself. That is a skill set, and not many people would like to go through that path. So I believe that if I go back to my path as well, getting investment advices from my friends, from the economists, from the news, from other gurus, right? That is also getting the fish. So I made a lot of mistakes following the trend of the people who are saying, "Oh, this is the next thing. This is the crypto that is going to go to the moon. This is the company that is going to go 100 Vegas, which is 100 times." And following through that, I made a lot of mistakes because I don't know the underlying thing, why they really come up with that conclusion. What is the expectation of the period in time? Is it 1 week that I'm going to get out? Is it 1 year? Is it 10 years? So it's really relative with that person who is saying it. So to me, is yeah, knowing how to pitch rather than getting the pitch from somebody else is something that I learned over the years in my investment journey. And I highly recommend everybody to learn, invest in yourself, in your knowledge, because it's just a skill set that anybody can learn, and try to find the right guru or the right person who are actually teaching you this kind of skill set rather than just giving you.
Wow. This was gold. This was actually gold because, my God, the amount of people, including me as well, like the quick fix theory, right? Like, let me just get rich quicker. Let me get rich quicker. And then we get scammed. We get so many things purely because we take time too seriously and think like, let me just become a millionaire in 6 months, rather than actually understanding, learning what you want to learn, the skill. Unfortunately, we have become lazier in terms of learning, and that's where we can fall prey to so many of scams, so many of mistakes. Not like mistakes are not you can avoid them. I think they're very necessary for your own growth, but this quick fix theory has to be dissolved, and people need to take time. I completely agree with what you say, that you need to learn whatever you're putting your money, time, whatever in. It's very important. Education is important, and what you just said, teach them how to fish, because it's very, very simple to be an expert and want people to come over and over and over, because that's also one of the easiest way to make money. But how about empower people more? And that's what I love about you. You empower people through Wealth Angels, which we'll get on after a couple of more questions that I asked you. But people need to understand education first and then go hone that skill, because you can never understand the skill if you don't go to the basic foundation level, right? And that's my actual question. My next question is that can you tell us, the viewers and I, that what was the most important lesson you learned during this 20 years of working towards your goal of enabling you to retire at the age of 40?
Yes, I will say that nobody else will care more about your money more than you do. So that is one sentence I will put in for everybody to think about. And I believe that yeah, we have to, as you say, we have to invest in ourselves first, understand what we are doing, because if you don't understand what you're doing, you are just gambling, right?
Mm.
Putting hopes that this money can grow on the tree, but hope is for hopeless. So we need to take responsibility. We need to make sure that okay, even you use financial advisors, at least you get to know how to make the decisions that is appropriate for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Get the information from whatever source, right? But make sure that this is aligned with your goals and is also aligned with your personality. How do you will you feel about when maybe the market it goes up and down? It's so volatile, and the risk is coming from the uncertainty of the the unknown. So that's why we don't say that it's a risk. The risk is how we can get less risk along the way, trying to take the risk from the equation. It's not going to go to zero. There will always some risk there. But the thing is, what you can control is knowing what you're doing, knowing to get to know what is the worst case scenario and how you're going to handle that worst case scenario. So if you understand that way, you will be behave differently. So in my community, as well as we are teaching about investment, and we know that when you know what you're investing in, you know where ABC company is a good company fundamentally, that they're having a strong revenue growth. They're still having a growing customer base. And when we only see the price maybe dropping 20%, 30%, which could happen in the market, but it is the revenue decay by 20%, 30%. Is the customer base is decreasing by 20, 30%? And the answer normally is no. But if you don't see these fundamentals, right, and you just follow the market, the ups and downs, because the market is very emotional. There are millions and millions of people that are involved, right? So if you cannot read what your spouse, your partner, or the people around you are thinking or feeling emotionally, for sure you are not able to predict what the market and millions or billions of people are thinking that point in time, right? And you cannot control that. But what you can control is how you see a company, a market, or whatever asset that you're investing in. Get to know very well about that. You don't need to master everything. You have to master maybe one or two different assets that you're really, really interested in learn and ask questions to the mentors, the people who are doing it or done it, and then you will be able to improve until the place that you will get to know enough to make your own decisions, and the emotion you are able to take care, because if you use a lot of emotion in investing or doing that, it's going to be very, very volatile, and we don't want that, right? Make decisions based on emotions. Panic selling, emotionally you buy, that is not going to end up in a good result. So this is my advice. Yeah.
Which is like a top notch advice, because I think emotions play such a big role with money. People have so much of emotions attached to money, and that's why people first learn about money mindset and then go ahead and do things, because emotionally you can just like wreck your entire wealth building strategy or money or whatever. And I personally have faced like major emotions coming up when I've had money issues, right? Because what you just said, no one will take care of your money and value it as much as you do. And that brings so much of emotion at front, which brings me to my next question, right? That for someone who has financial knowledge, yeah, great, but who doesn't even have, right, Diego, what's the first step someone should genuinely take if they really want to take in charge of their money?
Okay, so I will say that it's good to actually read some books, right? And learn, get education, and having people maybe around you that is doing what you want to do. Okay, so one thing is get connected with people who can coach you and mentor you. That will be the best. But getting started is the very first step. You don't need to invest too much money. You need to understand what are the options out there. What is the goal for that investment, or maybe a saving account, or how many percent of interest you want to get. So be it. So what is the goal? And in order to achieve that goal, which is the right place to put your money first. So to me, I truly believe that the stock market is one place that in the long term actually can, it has been proven that in the long term, like 15 years, 20 years, that is kind of guaranteed that it's going to grow.
Hmm.
And you will see the stock market like the S&P 500 indexes that is going in the long term is a safe investment, or it's a safe asset class. But if you go back to the separate cash, in the long term is not safe because it's going to decay. The value is going to decrease every single year because of inflation, right? Everything getting expensive. $1 you can cover now, it's going to be totally different in 20 years from now. But in the short term, the money is more secure, right? Because it's like it won't change in 1 year too much, but in 20 years, it's a huge difference. But when it's come in investment, in the stock investment, then the the market could be volatile, right? Go up and down, up and down.
Hmm.
So zoom out this situation and think long term. So when you think that way, in the 20 years from now or 10 years from now, it's going to be more, which one is going to be less risky? So putting that in mind, start small, which is you can start with really small amount. In this say $100, $200 monthly basis that you can do it dollar cost average every single month. Certain amount of money you put in, and then keep doing it over and over again. And then when you can do that, just only is automatically. You don't need to feel the emotions, or maybe you like it or not. It's just constantly like a habit. You put $100 or $50, whichever it is, and every single month you can keep buying in, right? And everybody can do that. But if you think that way, that one day when I have a lot of money, when I have more time, when I have this and that, is yeah, it never can, right? And then when you have a lot of money and you put the money into the stock market, a lot of money, then you will see, say for instance, if you put $10,000, 10% fluctuation on the price could be $1,000. 10,000, 10% is $1,000. So if you see 10% negative, how will you feel? Not good. But if you put $100,000 and 10% of it is $10,000, how will you feel? Really, really not cool, right? You will say, "Oh,
Miserable.
I'm out. It's not for me, right? I'm losing $10,000, which is paper losses, by the way, and normally it's used to recover. But what if you receive the retirement funds and you have $1 million to invest in, and then you invest in the market, 10% is $100,000. And when you get at this stage, it's really, really possible that it can go up and down on 6 digits. Okay, so if you don't get started with $1,000, then $10,000, you are not able to handle $1 million or $100,000, whatever it is, because you have to start small. You have to learn, and also your mind and your skill have to actually pick up. So you learn, you apply, and your emotional, your EQ actually is going to go up. Then you learn a little bit more skill, then your emotion is going to go higher and higher. And this is how you are able to have the millionaire mindset. Never start from the beginning that when you have millions of dollars, you will be able to manage your money. No, because the income is coming from your career, which is your job or your entrepreneurship. This is how you earn the money. This is one skill, which is totally different skill set that how you handle the money, which is how you manage the money you earn from the job of from your income, right? Then
Hmm.
managing the money, earning the money is two different skill set that every single person, even you are a corporate leader or you are an entrepreneur, you have to master. And then these are two different engines that work hand in hand in order for you to become wealthy. And the money is generating money for you, so you don't need to work anymore. And that is how you earn passive income. That is how that passive income is paying your expenses. And then you don't need to work because you have to, but because you want to. This is the aiming for everybody here. And then if you are focusing too much on earning a lot of money, think about maybe 10% of your time and energy focusing on how you can learn how to manage your money. Going back and then learn what you can do right now, one small thing, one small action to move the needle towards your financial freedom. And that is a lot of lacking on this mindset, because life keeps you busy, being busy, and then you have so many distractions around you and so many priority coming from other people, but you're not focusing on prioritizing yourself first. So pay yourself first in time, money, and energy.
Beautiful. And I think this is one of the most common misconceptions people have about money as well, that, oh, when I have $10,000 or when I have $2,000, whatever it is. But how about start now and invest? Even $20 doesn't matter, but the compounding effect of money is amazing. And that's how, um, you can eventually have such a good base of money. But which brings me to this question, right, Diego? What is, in your viewpoint, the difference between money and wealth? Like, how do you see? Because people think money and wealth are the same, right? But what do you think about it?
Okay, yes, I believe that money is just a tool, as an energy of exchange that you can exchange to buy a nice bag or having experience or give away, right? To give somebody that they need more, need it. So I believe that is an enabler. So if money is not a root of evil, actually the lack of money is a root of evil, because everybody, because don't have it, they want to steal from somebody else. So we need to change that mindset. That is not true. And when you change that perspective, is money actually is enable you to become a better person, to give more of your resources, which is the money itself, or the time or your wisdom to others. It becomes the abundant mindset when you have it. When you don't have it, it's scarcity mindset. And if you're able, let's say for instance, if the money is not an issue anymore, what would you do? What the people with right heart and right mind will do? They will contribute to the society. They will try to help others to reach their goals. They would like to get together with others to make a better world, as much as they can, right? So I feel like the money, we need to take this out of the equation as soon as possible. That's why I believe that is one of my mission. Getting there is not enough. It's how many people can bring in order to expand further. So when the money is not issue anymore, we are going to help others to make a better world, which is a beautiful thing. And when you have resources like money, time, freedom, and the knowledge to actually give away, then we will be able to expand and ripple the effect for generations, right? So I believe that, yeah, the being wealthy is having the money, the time, the knowledge to actually have the options to give away, to have the best experience around you, traveling around the world, right? So you take care of yourself, you put the mask on first, which is in every airplane, you have to put yourself first, right? And then help others. And that applies the concept of paying yourself first or self-love. If you don't love yourself, you cannot really give from the empty cup. You have to be overflowing cup that you can say, oh, now I can help everybody else. And that should be the way. Because if it's not overflowing, then you are in the scarcity model. And then anytime soon, it's like, oh, I cannot take it anymore. I need to go back to work, or I need to do something in order to have the energy, right? but I believe that everything starts from yourself first.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I love that. I completely love that and resonate with it. Like, you've got to start taking responsibility and ownership of your life. Then only can you make a positive change, not just in your life, but everyone around you, including your relations. Like how, coming back to your sister's story, right? If you kept on helping her money wise, how would she have grown and, actually tackle money, her own money problem? And then you taught her how to manage money by learning yourself and then teaching it to your relatives and, your close and near and dear ones. Which brings me to near and dear ones. You're a father of three. Hmm. So, as a financial guru yourself, like, how do you teach your children about financial education, management of your money? Because honestly, blatantly, schools don't teach financial management. I was never taught. I'm pretty sure you were never taught, but we were taught whatever we got learned taught by our parents. So, how do you impart financial education into your young kids?
Yes, thanks for that question. And that is my focus right now. So my kids are 10 years old, 12 years old, and 14 years old this year. And yes, my 14 years old, it was this week was his birthday. And next
Ah,
month, the same day, actually, it will be my second and third child. The same day, 2 years difference. And I believe that in the next maybe 10 years from now, right, I need to make sure that I pass on the core values, the skill sets, the tool set, or whatever that is available for them to become a successful individuals from the mindset and also the skill of the taking care of the finances. This two is very, very crucial, and then I'm really committed to do so. So this question is really why I'm asking every single day how I can teach or pass on this knowledge to them. And in different stage, you have different ways to pass the skills. Starting from maybe the early 6 years old to 8 years old, how to save, right? Not everything. Oh, I buy candy. I buy my toy. I buy this and that, right? So when that is happening, we need to teach them how to save more, right? Keep more than what they spend, right? Live below your means. And then when you apply that, it's like, okay, I give you a set of money, then you can buy your toy, you can buy this and that, but use your own money. Don't ask me to buy for you. So when it comes in that place, most of the cases they say, I think it's not necessary. I will keep it. I know I don't need that toy. I don't need that candy because it's coming from their own pocket. And
mm,
and then they start out enabling them to save a little more. When we have this kind of events like the Chinese New Year here in Singapore, we have that. They receive red bucket with money inside, so they are able to save. Or New Year bucket, right? So you receive the money, and they say, "Oh, I have $100," right? And we are really scared as a parent how they're going to spend $100 because it's a lot of money for them. A few $100 actually can be saved in that, can be given. So to me is okay, now that you have this amount of money, then let's split into three different jars. One is the saving jar, paying yourself first for investment, long term. The other jar is for your experiment. Like I want also to implement this kind of entrepreneurship. So you have certain amount of money to buy something and you create or sell. You give value to others. And the other, maybe one third, is for them to expand in anything they want. So I don't want to say, oh, this is okay, this is good to buy or not. They choose by themselves. So I want them to make the mistake as early as possible.
mm.
So these three different buckets I will split, and I would like to focus more on to the two, which is investment. So the investment jar, I will double it. If they put $10, I will double it $20. I will put in their investment account. which I made by on my own name, but they can see under the account, right? And then I will see, okay, I will talk with them. What kind of things or what kind of company do you believe or do you like to buy? And we think we look we go outside and we see, let's say, oh, McDonald's. We used to go to McDonald's, so every kid likes McDonald's, right? And I only let them buy some Happy Meal once a month. That is the main thing. But how they can go there and buy is like, now that you buy in a company that is actually every Saturday, Sunday there's full, as well as there are many cars that is coming driving through. Okay, do you think this company is making a lot of money? They say yes, of course. All the children is paying there, right? And then buying a lot of things. So with that money, with the stock market going up, now you can take $5 to buy your Happy Meal. With the amount that is growing, or the dividend that you're getting, now you can buy your nugget or your ice cream. So never take the capital, just take the profits. This is the mindset I have instilling in them right now, and also they can see the growth in the capital. And then take a look. Oh, I like Roblox. Can I buy the shares of Roblox? And can I buy the shares of 7-Eleven because they like the bento or the juice there. So they start thinking about, oh, I see around a lot of opportunity. And then ask me about what do I think about this company or this business. So they are still in the investor mindset as well as the business mindset. Okay, so that is how I try to implement this strategy into the kids from 6 years old, nowadays in the 14 years old, and then never is too early to start talking about this. And then you don't need to wait until they are 20, 25 years old, because at that point in time, they are so independent that they don't want to even listen what you are having to say. So while still dependent, when I still giving the money and I have more control of it, then that is the timing to pass on the knowledge, which is for me is now, until they become maybe 17, 18 years old. Because at that age they will like my wallet, but not my advisors or anything else. So until then they need to be financially savvy.
Very, very, very good trick. I just love this. And parents, viewers watching, implement this with your children. And children, if you're watching, go show this to your parents, but start this, because I am pretty sure that if kids actually have such a setup, they're just setting themselves up, and parents are setting their kids up for success in life, because they start valuing everything in their life, which is something that, the more you inculcate it at an early stage, the better it is for the individual itself. So Diego, thank you for doing this. This is just great. And I know I'm going to touch base on one of the projects that you're doing this wholly and solely with teenagers. But before I jump into that, I'm genuinely intrigued.
Let me cover a little more on that, because
Yes.
what you say is really true, that by telling this knowledge, right, since young age, you are also helping yourself as a parent, because they're going to be more money savvy. So they will not waste the money. They won't come back to you and say, oh, I need more money, because at the end of the month, it's not enough. And then if you keep doing that until they start working and they earn their own money, which is a lot of, maybe thousands of dollars, and they don't have the mindset of saving and investing, and then the rest they're going to spend, then you're creating a creature that are going to have a lot of issues in the future, that everything is going to come back to you. So it's the karma that you're paying now or pay later. This is one thing. And the second thing, as you say, you are setting up to success, which means I want them to be financially free earlier than I made myself. So before 40 years old, I want them to become financially free in order to spend the time after 40s taking care of the family, taking care of whatever project that is more passion driven, purpose driven, and then fulfill their life. So I'm setting up now, planting the seeds in themselves in order to make sure that they're going to reach the same goal or earlier as I did. So if you are a parent and if you think like it's too early for me, too late for me, or whatever, think about your kids. Are there enough? Do you want the best for them? If you want that, yeah, you have to do something about it. You have to do for them because normally we don't do for ourselves. We are the last thing that you're going to take care, right? Then take care of your children. Think about them that you don't want them to go through this painful journey, but you're planting the seed from now on. That is the message I always tell the parents because the kids always is the best treasures for them.
Oh
Hope they
man,
make, yeah, they get motivation from that or for any sort.
absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree. And there's so much that I can ask you on this whole topic, but probably, keeping time in mind, I'll probably bring you once again. And if viewers, you accept this, put in a comment saying, yes, bring him back again. But quickly asking you a couple of questions before we wrap up, Diego. Uh, what's the most challenging part of teaching people financial independence, because you've taught so many across the board? What do you really feel is the most challenging part of you being an educator in the money field, which is just so sensitive?
Mhm. Yes, I believe that actually education is everywhere. You can learn from the books, you can learn from people, courses, YouTube, anything, right? From free to paid. And the thing is, the path is well known, right? What I'm saying is nothing new. It's everywhere in every book, but it's not well traveled. It's not well traveled means, oh, I know what to do, but I'm not doing it. That is the case of most of the people. So the most important thing is, yeah, you might know what to do, but are you doing it? Are you really focusing on take action one step at a time? Right? You know that you have to be investing in order to compound your wealth until that wealth is grown that they can pay your expenses. Yeah, everybody knows that. But are you doing it? Or are you scared to take the first step? Taking action is the most difficult thing, and they might learn, and the lack of accountability, and the people because it's so emotional, as you say, right? The most of the people need support and accountability, and you
Mm,
will get stuck when you go through these levels, different levels of mindset as well, which is starting investing and then getting master investment is two totally different levels. It is the person you become at the end of the successful journey, right? Is what matters. If you don't enjoy the journey, is really worthless. Like you want to get to the financial freedom, you want to climb the mountain, yes, but you have to enjoy the journey. If not, it's going to be very painful, lonely, right? And then you might want to give up. But if you go together, if you go with a tribe, with the people with like-minded people who are supporting you in the journey and say, oh, this is how I did it. Maybe you can try this way if it's not working and try an error, less error, but more trying and learning from other people who are actually doing the error and then you avoid that. That is the way that I believe that is faster to get to the goal and beyond, which is the wealth can grow, the sky's the limit, right? And then you can pass on that to the next generation as a legacy, right?
beautiful.
So I believe that yeah, it's a journey. I believe that you have to stick together with some small tribe community in that sense that is aiming for the same goal and learning from the people around you until you get there and beyond.
Wow. So is it safe to say that, your emotions and your mindset is the biggest kind of obstacle that people face while achieving, and building their money, and just getting into a community where people can support you and reframe that mindset can be less overwhelming as well?
Yes,
right?
I can say that because everything is in your head. Most of the
Mm.
cases, you also think about the worst case scenario, what if, and all of that that is going to hold you back, and you will be procrastinating. But if you have somebody else to discuss or have been going through the same thing, and that could be part of the mentorship, coaching, or community as support, right? And that can discuss together and say, oh, I know what to do next. Small step. You don't need to think 5 steps further, right? You just only need to take one step at a time and do what you are promising to yourself, and that is self accountability normally fails, right? We want to be healthy, we want to go to the gym, we want to make these goals. At the beginning of the year, we set the goals, and then at the end of the year, nothing is hit, right? Okay. Uh,
Resolutions.
Exactly. Yeah. So the accountability, if you say somebody else, oh, I'm going to be there, and then we can go to watch a movie, you are likely you're going to be there. So accountability will keep you on track. If you say you're going to do something, it's likely you're going to do it. Maybe last minute, but you're going to do it because you don't want to show up saying, oh, today again I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I haven't achieved anything, right? And then you will keep in mind, oh, I need to do it even I don't like it. So even I don't feel like it, I'm tired, and the weather is not good. You have to do it. So if you are able to do that, the consistency, and then if you have the consistency to follow through, then everybody can reach any goal possible. Yeah, everything is in your mind.
Amazing, Diego, which brings me to your community pet projects, right? For the ones thinking that, oh my God, how do I get started? Like, I want to build my wealth. I want to leave a legacy. I want to start just earning so that I know that I can start doing things that I love. Diego is already working on two amazing projects. One is for the adults in order for them to understand what money is, change their money mindset, which is Wealth Angels. And one is for the teenagers, which is, kickstarting their financial independence for 15 to 18-year-olds. Diego, do you want to shed some light on Wealth Angel and your collaboration with the youth to empower them?
Okay, yes, thank you for asking. So now, actually, after firing my bosses, I was thinking how I can contribute, right? Because the
Hmm.
contribution is a big part of my satisfaction and fulfillment. Contribution and growth. So keep learning is one thing I do, and contribution is something that fulfill my soul. And I'm currently the co-founder and CEO of this company, which is called Well Angels. Our mission is to educate, empower, and guide individuals so collectively we can pass on our financial knowledge and life wisdom to the next generations and be the change we want to see in our family tree. So our goals is also to help 1,000 life as of now that is going to ripple the effect to reach their financial freedom so they can really follow the calling in life and together have fun because we are going to have a lot of time and freedom and resources
Hmm.
and make a better world in by all means, right? And I believe that this knowledge is not being passed in the school. It's not taught in the our parents or even society never talk about this topic. And I also believe that the financial industry is really a lot of conflict on interest. So
Hmm.
really, you have to understand how to treat yourself, understand the basic about these personal finances, and from there take small steps. So what we do in What Angels, we are trying to combine these like-minded people who has the right mindset and then taking the responsibility that yes, I'm going to change my life and the people around me, and they have a good vibes and energy, right, to support each
Hmm.
other, and that is the community that I want to build, right? So the people who are really like-minded as well as grow-minded is the people who are in my community, and it's by invitation only. That's why I really choose to select the people who are coming in my community. But we know that when you have a good heart, right, and your heart-driven project, that is, you want to change people in the spiritual path, in the health and fitness path, or whatever path it is, you will need the resources, which is more or less is the money to support your journey, right? So that is how we would like to combine different minds and support each other towards this journey. And that is more on the adult, right? The people who have kids, and the once you master it, you can pass on to the next generations. But also, why not to starting from the for the teens, right? They still able to influence the parents, that the parents maybe don't have the time or energy to actually go through this journey, because after all you have to take responsibility and you have to take some energy to learn about these things. But unfortunately, not many people want to learn it. They want to go through life, that is everything happen for them, and that is not really or spirit. So I'm starting with projects, collaboration with different entities that is focusing maybe in different aspect in life, or these kind of things that is teaching them about how to master the finances as well. So I'm really open to do more collaborations with communities, with people who has the spirit to actually contribute to others, then I'm really open to the collaboration and co-creation. So that's why I'm doing this with different communities as well.
Beautiful, Diego. Beautiful. And viewers, if you're watching, we'll put all his information in the show notes. So go ahead, check that out. But before we wrap up, Diego, thank you for the work that you're doing, because money is a tool, and it's a very essential tool for people to live out their dreams, to find their purpose, to get more joy in their lives. And that's what I truly believe, that money should not be the end goal, but it should just be a tool for you to live out a richer, more fruitful, more purposeful life, right? And um, for me, before you leave, could you just shed some light on the one money habit you think you wish you could drill into every young person's and adult's head through your experience with money?
Okay, so one habit that I think everybody has to put in place is paying yourself first. Paying yourself first in terms of not only money, right, but also with the energy, with the time as well. Okay, with the money is the return is going to be the return on your investment. You put the money there, the pay yourself first, taking aside whatever is in income, 10% or more, right? And then investing that money in the growth. Then the time also with the people around you, is the people who your network is your net worth. That is my phrase I love. And then the people where you put the energy, right? The energy, you get more energy, more positivity, as well as more knowledge that you can learn from them and help each other to co-create, co-elevate, right? And then that is the return on time and the time, ROT. So you put a lot of time with the people who is like-minded and they have a good soul and they want to help others. I believe that is a great return on your time. And then also the return, the path of return of joy, right? How much what you're doing with your friends or helping others is bring back to you. Return on joy is very important to me. And I believe that, yeah, what we are doing is everything, like you are impacting one person at a time, right? And it's not how much you leave to the society or community, right? The amount of wealth you're bringing, but it's how many people you touch along the way, that you're going to still there for generations. Even if you're no longer here, they will remember you because you impacted their life. So I believe that for me, it's more or less yeah, paying yourself first to achieve these three things: return on investment, return on your time spent, and return on joy. That is really important, and it's going to leave the legacy. And that is my success path. So if we can impact more people and if they can remember me for generations, I believe that I call my life was a successful story. So I hope, yeah, we can come out with in somewhere in the world on doing this path, whether it's in the community, whether it's through Kanika's yeah, podcast as well. But I hope everybody has a more abundant life, a more joyful life, and then we can help each other on this journey called life.
Oh, Diego, thank you. It was such a joy. This is a return on my joy to actually interview you. Thank you so much for coming on Thrive Talks. I know whatever you've said was just so spectacular because people can take in actual practical steps. And guys, go ahead, implement. Just take that first step towards financial freedom because when you start working on your money, and rather, let me take a step back, when you start working on yourself and then on your finances and everything, it becomes so much more joyful. And Diego, thank you for the work that you're doing. Thank you for coming on the show. Are there any last words you want to impart the viewers with? Because I know you have so much financial wisdom, and I'm definitely going to get you back for sure. But are there any last words?
Yes, last word is thank you for creating this space for the people coming and share the knowledge, expertise, and even wisdom, right? I believe that we have a lot of wisdom and experience going through our life and a lot of painful stories that if you don't ask, you will never know, right? Maybe you will see oh, this guy is already retired. He has a lot of money, but coming from where, right? The point A and point B could be really different from everybody. And because you are in different situation, oh, this is not my case. Maybe I cannot make it because of some limiting belief you might have, right? You have to come to the Yakanika's Gen Studio and then listen up from all the people who are going through a difficult situation, right? And then come up with a successful story because everything, every dot is going to connect after you went through the journey. Maybe it's something that you never desired to happen to you, but it was happened for you, all right, to become a successful person in different means, right? What is success means to you. So I believe that you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that everything is happening for you. And this journey is something that you can really have the full control, focus on what you can control, and then bless whatever is not under your control because God or the universe or where you might want to call is actually helping you to get to your being connected. If you feel like you need more inspiration, connect with Kanika or myself as well, and we would love to help you in some form of shape. Thank you so much for your time, Sven.
Beautiful. Thank you, Diego. Yes, guys, we're here. We're in this together. And that's what Thrive Talks is all about, right? Showing that, yes, you could have a point A, which is very dull, but how can you change that and flip the switch, the script rather, to point B, where you're much happier, much more joyful, much more abundant, and you're thriving. So, Diego, thank you. It was an absolute pleasure. Thanks for watching and supporting Thrive Talks. If you found value in these conversations, hit that subscribe and like button and the notification bell to stay updated on more inspiring stories. Until next time, keep thriving and keep growing.